Hello, everyone, and welcome into Fridays with Phil. I'm Phil Mayo, and I would like to share with you 5 minutes of biblical insight to help you along the way. If you enjoy the content, please be sure to subscribe. Last week, we identified Revelation as apocalyptic literature, and I made the statement that apocalyptic literature speaks in symbolic imagery. This week, we want to talk a little more about that and what interpretive approach to take in our study of Revelation. When studying any book in the Bible, it's important to consider the historical context. For example, if we were studying 1 Corinthians, we would want to try to find out what first century Corinth was like and how this background information might illuminate what Paul wrote. Revelation is no different. However, I have found that many people, when studying Revelation, forget this basic fact. I once heard Gordon Fee, a respected New Testament scholar, say that when it comes to the study of Revelation, people seem to lose their heads. He said this because he understood as a biblical scholar this fundamental principle of interpretation. And like me, he saw the often misguided and even fantastic interpretations that have come forward over the past 2 centuries. The greatest problem that many have had with interpreting Revelation is the failure to recognize the nature of the apocalyptic style. Often the approach to Revelation has been to believe that somehow locked up in these fantastic images is the key to predicting the end of the world. That if we could only figure it out, we would know exactly how the final years on earth will transpire before Jesus comes. This approach also tends to remove the church from involvement in most events in Revelation. The primary approach to this kind of interpretation is to interpret the image of Revelation literally rather than symbolically, and to see the events in Revelation unfolding in a historically linear timeline. We'll talk more about Revelation structure at another time. This approach has been popular in the West, comes from a very Western perspective, and is seen in such books and film series as The Late Great Planet Earth and Left Behind. I don't think this is a correct interpretive approach to Revelation. The questions we want to answer are why and to whom John wrote Revelation, and what is its message. We can discern from early evidence that it was written in the late 1st century by someone named John, who was on the island of Patmos, a small island off the coast of modern Turkey. He says, "For the word of God and the testimony of Jesus." John also describes himself as a brother and companion in suffering, which may imply that John may himself be in exile for his faith. John addresses the revelation to churches in the province of Asia, which was located only a few miles from Patmos on the west coast of modern Turkey. All of this suggests a context and a time in which we can see the images of Revelation in order to know why it was written and ultimately the message it contains. These 7 churches existed in 7 real cities in the Roman Empire. When we look at the messages to these churches, we will find that they are facing real problems, both from within and from without. Revelation was written then as a message to them about how to live out their faith in turbulent times. It is a call to faithful endurance. Whatever Revelation has to say to us in the 21st century has to be teased out of the message first penned to these 7 churches. The challenges that these 7 churches faced have not changed over the centuries. We still face internal conflict, false doctrine, persecution from outside forces, temptation to compromise, and we battle against a formidable enemy, Satan and his cohorts. These are the issues that face the churches of Revelation, and these are the issues we still face today. This is what makes Revelation still relevant. Next week, we'll continue our series, Reading Revelation Right, by taking a look at, quote, one like a son of man. I hope you'll join me. If you have a question, leave it in the comments below. Thank you, and God bless you.